Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Gina Barty.
And I'm Janine Samuels. Topping the news, the Sean Urbanski trial resumes in Upper Marlboro. Several witnesses took the stand in the Sean Urbanski murder trial, including a man who linked the defendant to a white supremacist group. Byron Scott has our story.
The defense is not debating whether Sean Urbanski killed Richard Collins III, but it does assert that it was not a hate crime. To counter that point, the state calls Nicholas Clampett to the stand. Seen here at the left, Clampett said that he went to high school with Sean Urbanski and that both worked at a bowling alley. He testified that he and Urbanski were members of a white supremacist Facebook group known as the Alt-Right Nation. The prosecution says Urbanski committed first-degree murder and a hate crime when he stabbed Richard Collins III in May of 2017 while on the campus of the University of Maryland. They say Collins was targeted because he was black. The state also called an FBI analyst to the stand. He testified about racist images discovered in a file on Urbanski's cell phone. But under cross-examination, he could not say whether Urbanski saved them to his phone or if someone sent them to him. The trial resumes tomorrow with closing arguments expected on Thursday. At the courthouse, Byron Scott, CTV News.
The prosecution rested its case this afternoon.
A man already on probation for several trespassing and peeping Tom incidents in College Park is arrested again for allegedly committing the same crimes. This is the suspect, 37-year-old Aaron Nisus. According to police, Nisus allegedly broke into at least 7 residences going back to November 16th. In the most recent incident on December 8th, the victim woke up to hear her front door open, but no one inside. Surveillance video shows Nisus checking about 25 apartment doors and entering at least 3. Police say the majority of these incidents took place near the University of Maryland in off-campus housing.
I mentioned before, Mr. Nisus is seen entering several apartments. Those apartments we have identified. There are male and female victims who were inside. Unbeknownst to them, Mr. Nisus was inside their apartment room for a certain period of time where he had the opportunity either to record them, to possibly take an article of clothing, or steal a small item. So it's very important that we speak with those individuals. In the College Park area, it's a very friendly community. A lot of these buildings are secured, and the way you get in is either with a pass key or a code. And I think inadvertently people being nice may believe that that individual is a resident, Mr. Nisus is a resident, when clearly he's not, or he'll simply piggyback. As you open the door to come in carrying your groceries, Mr. Nisus can say, hey, can you hold the door for me? And he can come in right behind you.
Nisus has been charged with 5 counts of trespassing and peeping Tom, along with 4th-degree burglary. Police are encouraging anyone who feels that they have been victimized by the suspect is asked to contact police.
Democrats accuse President Trump of criminal bribery in a new report released today explaining the 2 articles of impeachment. Those articles, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The House is expected to approve the articles mostly along party lines on Wednesday. A trial is likely to begin in the Republican-led Senate in early January. Meanwhile, Representative Alyssa Slotkin, a freshman Democrat who represents a district Trump carried in 2016, announces she will support both articles of impeachment against the president.
Well, the Maryland State Police have a warning for drivers tonight. Don't drink and drive. State police say they investigated 16 drunk driving crashes this weekend and made 51 DUI arrests. Here in Prince George's County, there were 6 impaired crashes. State police say they will continue to increase drunk driving enforcement during the holidays. And joining us now is John Townsend from AAA Mid-Atlantic here to talk about impaired driving during the holiday season.
Great seeing both of you.
Yes,
nice seeing you.
Thanks so much for being here. I know the traffic and the weather was kind of messy getting here.
Always so.
Now, and with the holiday season comes holiday weather,
right.
Comes holiday cheers, but then also impaired driving.
Well, impaired driving is a big factor in about 1/4 of all fatalities to almost 40% of all traffic fatalities over the holiday period. It's estimated that 115 people will lose their lives around Christmas Day itself, and almost 40% of those persons will be killed in incidents and accidents and crashes caused by drunk drivers or impaired drivers.
Now, I'm just like we were saying right before we went on, I'm really shocked that so many people still get on the road impaired. And so when we talk about impaired, talk about it's not just drinking and driving, it's a whole list of it now.
Right, so you're talking about drunk driving, drug driving, and also a new factor on the roadways with the legalization of marijuana, pot impaired driving, and also opioid impaired driving. So whatever you see happening in society also happens behind the wheel, unfortunately. And you're right, Gina, you would think that most people have gotten the message, and over the years people have gotten the message, but the average person who's arrested for DUI, and we had 115 of those persons arrested for DUI in the state of Maryland during the Thanksgiving travel period. So we'll have even more during the Christmas, New Year's travel period because it's a longer period of time. And there are more reasons for people to have parties and to drink, especially around Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, and of course New Year's Eve, when that's part and parcel of what people do. But the dangerous side of that is that people will still get behind the wheel, and you would think they know better. But here's the truth, that when you look at DUI arrests, most people who are arrested have not just done it once, they've done it 100 or more times and gotten away with it, and they say, I can do it again. Repeat offenders.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about that. When you are at a holiday party, you're among family and friends, and you see someone that maybe has been drinking and is getting okay.
Take the keys.
And then if you're traveling with someone, or someone you drove to the party or went to the party with someone who's driving, then say, who's drinking, say, I'm not going to drink myself, I'll be the designated driver. And if you're the host for the party, remember in the state of Maryland you can be held liable if you serve too much alcohol to your guests. So you need to have a regimen in place that say at a certain hour we're going to water down the drinks or stop drinking. So at a certain time before the party ends, so people will be more sober if they leave and refuse to not give up their keys. Or if you're hosting a party, have a guest bedroom and say, no, you're going to stay here tonight.
Now, we know the drinking age is 21. Is there an average range of age that we find that are committing these impaired driving crimes?
There are two groups, and most of them are males, young males between the ages of 18 to 25. And then there's another cluster of people between 35 and 45. But again, mostly male. But what we're seeing in passing years is that more and more women are also becoming impaired because it is socially acceptable now. And no one frowns upon anyone who drinks anymore. It's no longer socially unacceptable to drink. The religious impact of it has not changed people's mores or folkways. And so there's more and more emphasis on legalization of pot, and again, that topic is going to come up in Maryland this year in the General Assembly session. It's legal in the district to use it. So
I know we could go on about this subject forever and ever and ever.
Those people who imbibe in D.C. also come into Maryland.
But I love the point you made. Just take the keys.
Take the keys.
So everyone needs to remember that. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Really appreciate it.